Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It's a Saturday night, which can mean only one thing. It's Melodifestivalen Heat 2 review. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We had such a good time last week talking about the wonderful Heat 1. Oh yes, we really did. Yeah. Those who joined us last week will remember us covering the beauty that was Heat 1 in all of its glory with my wonderful panel. At least a few of them are with us tonight, but we've got two new faces, but not new faces to ESC Fan TV, of course, just new faces to this season's Melfest. Let's say hello to my panel. Firstly, Tom, we're back together again.
Hey, Stu. Yeah, oh my goodness. It's been a long time, hasn't it? But do you know what? It's great to have the old team back for a bit of Melfest fun.
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? It's nice to see your pretty little face. That's all I would like to add to that. Good to see you. Sean, how you doing, my friend?
Good evening, Stu. It's nice to be back. It's Melfest. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. This was a brilliant show.
It was a good one tonight, wasn't it? We'll get into that very shortly. All the way from Sweden, from Malmö, it is the wonderful Jeanette.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing all right tonight. It was a great evening.
It was good to see you, Jeanette. Bringing us, coming all the way from somewhere in the United Kingdom. I don't know where you live these days, Elliot, but perhaps we don't want to tell our viewers in case you get stalked again. It is the wonderful Elliot.
Hello. I haven't moved. I'm still in Manchester, and I am hopefully moving again during the Eurovision season, but still in Manchester, so in the northwest.
There you go. There you go.
Manchester's a big city. It'll be difficult to find me.
Not if you're on Grindr. Anyway, moving on. We want to say a very good evening to the wonderful Elena.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. All right, let's move on to this week's Melodifestivalen Heat 2. So the roundup today is we're going to take you through the songs which were tonight's losers. Oh, and that's a shame. Then we're going to talk about the song that qualified for the Andre Chanson. And then we're going to talk about the two songs that qualified for this year's finale. So let's move on to the very first song of this evening that sadly did not make it all the way to the final. It is Nomi Tales with the song Funniest Thing. Nomi is a singer-songwriter who also has studied game development at Future Games in Stockholm. Bet you didn't know that. Tinkly piano provides an ethereal opening to an understated and pretty entry, which builds in its 60-second snippet. This is a haunting mid-tempo ballad with a key change. This was a lovely song and well performed, beautiful staging. Let's go straight to Elliot. Elliot, what did you make of this song?
I'm going to be up front. This is my favorite song of 2025 so far.
Ooh.
I adored this on first listen. I love this sort of dark music. Like I said, of course, she kind of looks like this woodland nymph creature as well. Like her face, she's very innocent, very young looking, but it's very dark, very mysterious. You know, you think you can handle us. That's the funniest thing I've heard. It doesn't matter what you say. I choose my own faith. You know, it's pushing back on a lot of things and a very empowering song. It was dark. It was haunting. It was almost like a sort of like sister song to Witchwood in a sense. I adored it. This is the sort of thing I would love the UK to send because it's so commercial as well. The only issue was, and I was fearing this going into this, you had 4 songs which could have qualified for 3 spots. And although I do agree with this new format in a sense, I know that say if it was the old system, she would have been 4th and in the second chance round. So I'm gutted we have lost it already because it would have been nice to see Sweden take a risk and send something that's not traditionally them. Dark, haunting, beautiful. The song to beat for me this year, so expect me to mention it in our awards show in May. Adored it. Want it back next year already, please and thank you.
You know, I got Emmy Witchwood's vibes from this. Slightly different genre of song, but I definitely got that, and that was the first thing that hit me. Elena, you're nodding your head. Did you see that too?
Yeah, I saw that too. And to be honest, it's maybe weird to say this, but I actually agree with Elliot. Not that it's the best song of the year, but I totally share his opinion, and that's a really, really weird thing to think about and to say.
Yeah, it's kind of
Trauma.
very much. What's that? Sorry, Jeanette, come in.
Traumatizing to hear.
Yeah.
Elena agreeing with Elliot. Traumatizing.
It happens once a year for everyone, so at least you got it out the way.
Yeah, he did. It was a good way to kick off the show, actually. Do you know, what do you think of the staging?
I liked the staging. It was very interesting, and it was like a fairy tale saga. I really, really loved the staging, and I think she was a good fit to the song, her personality, the way she looked. But unfortunately, she was in a heat which had many good songs. So it was very difficult to qualify today. And I think she was the unlucky one, who didn't go through today.
She did, yeah. The unlucky one, numero uno. There were some other songs in the bottom three this week. I'm going to bring in my co-host. I missed him so much. Schlagers. I mean, when you saw this song in this heat, if you didn't think Tom immediately, then I don't know what you would be thinking. But this, for me, absolutely said Tom of ESC Fan TV. It struck me it was quite Waterloo. A bit of ABBA going on there. What did you make of it?
See, I was getting Bobby Sox vibes. I thought Bobby Sox needed their instruments back. I thought, you had the saxophone. I mean, it was, let's face it, it was very bouncy. It was very catchy. It was a brilliant song. It was never going to actually get anywhere. I mean, let's be brutally honest about this. This is my new realist approach for 2025. I know it's a great song, like it, love it, but unfortunately, there's a time and a place for it, and that was about 30 years ago at a push. And that's probably the point of it. But what a fantastic performance. I mean, I thought, they kind of sold it the best they could. Lovely song. Perhaps the background was a bit off-putting with the different triangles and stuff. I think they probably could have, let's face it, they could have gone far more out there with the 80s kind of vibe, given the fact that you had the parody of the 80s Melodifestivalen and stuff like that at the beginning of the show. I thought they could have actually parodied that a lot more. But come on, that was a fabulous entry, totally worthy of its place, because variety is very much what Melodifestivalen is all about. Never going to go anywhere, but it was a joy to watch. There we go, Stu. A joy.
That's a reach, Tom, but these are your words, not mine. Tom, talking of the intro, because we were messaging and you said this was a 9-minute intro into 1986. And I have to say, I nearly switched the channels. I'm thinking, have I landed on SVT 2 and not SVT 1 for a second? What the heck was that all about?
It was nuts, wasn't it? Totally and utterly crazy. And I have to admit, I was exactly the same as you. I put it on. It went on. You had the normal opening, you had that normal advert and stuff, and then I'm expecting something, and all of a sudden you get this thing, and I'm just like, you sit and watch it for a moment, and you're waiting for it to go back to the present, and you're like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
It's difficult for you who doesn't speak Swedish to understand the parody of it all. It was hard enough for me to understand because it was not good. It's not the best intro we've done, but you do understand this as a Swedish person who speaks and understands Swedish, that it was a celebration to the 1980s. And it's difficult for you to.
The idea.
I wouldn't get it. Yeah, it didn't fall out. It wasn't that good.
It was the idea was good.
Too much.
Thought it just went on too long.
Yeah, it should be like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
4 or 5 minutes.
But 9 minutes, that was pushing.
Yeah, it was too long. It was like, for me also, I was also expecting something to happen. What's happening? And nothing's happening. It was just a drag. For what? For nothing at the end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange thing.
Just switched back, and then we were back into the present, and you just lost 9 minutes of your life.
It felt like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
There was a moment there where I was thinking, I think I'd rather watch Branster City Slackers in replay for about 10 minutes than do that again. But anyway, I actually turned up later on in the show. Probably, unless you were watching Melodifestivalen in 2003, which, by the way, I was, because that's how old I am, you would have no clue who Branster City Slackers were. But he was the guy who went, Anyway, Sean.
Hiya.
Hiya, mate. Schlagers. I mean, what was going on?
As soon as you said, right. So, I mean, I love a bit of Schlager. Now, if this had been the 1990s, this would have been amazing, but it's just too dated for Melfest and definitely too dated for Eurovision. You said Waterloo just a few moments ago, and it wasn't until the recap where I realised the instrumental is pretty much exactly Waterloo. It really, really is. But yeah, it wasn't for me. It was just a bit dated. And I know what you mean about it. Yeah, you see this and it reminds you of Tom. You think Tom, and I know exactly why. It's that polka dot skirt, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen Tom wear something similar, I have to say.
He's not denying it. He's not denying it.
He's not denying it, no. But
the trouble is, sometimes I have to remember what went on when I was drunk, and that's always a bit of an issue. So, you know.
Did you also notice the lady on the right? The first time they started swaying to the left and the right, she went the wrong way. Yeah. Oh,
no,
bless.
Didn't notice.
Never.
It was a
rewatch.
It was a really weird treat. I mean, I'm sure they're all great friends, but they pulled together. I mean, I actually listened to one or two of them and reading up about them. Actually, they've got quite a packed history of performing with some major stars. Celine Dion, Danny Minogue.
I just stopped at Celine Dion.
This is true, by the way. Victoria Beckham.
Yeah, as I said,
what's next? The Wombles.
but actually, as a trio, it looked really weird. And you know what? One of the things that struck me was they just kind of sang. When you have a Schlager medley or even a Schlager entry, rather, you kind of want there to be some kind of performance, but they were just kind of stood there singing, which was so odd. It felt completely jarring. Alina, what did you make of it?
Well, like you said, it was like a bit weird to watch. First of all, I was so off-put in my mind that the tallest one was in the middle, and I constantly kept thinking how I would stand them on stage where it doesn't look like a triangle. Yeah, there was so much going on that I didn't even notice the song, which is, to be honest, awful.
Well, you said it. There was a third song which didn't make it, which was a personal favorite of mine. So I'm very upset with Sweden tonight. This was the country song. And I thought he said Sweetest Cowboy, which I thought maybe, Brokeback Mountain, eat your heart out. But it turns out he said Swedish Cowboy, which did break my heart, I have to say. But I really loved this. I thought it was a fantastic song. And I thought, Sweden, what are you doing? What are you doing? Send something unique. This was so good, Jeanette. This is your country.
No,
you didn't like this. I can tell
it's
from
my
your facial
country,
expression.
but that's not my kind of man at all. How many Swedish cowboys are there? I want to know.
There's a lot of sweetest cowboys, apparently.
Can we Google that? How many cowboys in Sweden are there? He must be the one and only, and he's single. So maybe I have a chance. No, I don't want to take it. I can't stand it.
All you need is a campfire whilst it's snowing.
Oh, and he drinks beer. I don't drink beer. It's not a good match. No cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys in Las Vegas. I can. Yeah. I've been to a country bar.
I can imagine they probably were wearing.
There are a lot of men from Vegas.
Yeah.
Who are cowboys. Yeah. Say
Elliot,
horse, ride a cowboy.
Elliot, do you like a cowboy?
Wow, that's where we're going.
That's where we're going, talking about cowboys in Vegas.
I'll bring it back to the actual music about this instead of, Jeanette's wet fever dream going on in the corner. Voice was good, but as I've said before many, many times, this sort of moonshine cowboy music is not for me. I do like country, and they've got a lot of country songs in this year because you've got the Tennessee Tears, Saga Ludwigström, Dolly Style's got a song called Yeehaw, and they're party cowboy country now. So God help us what that sounds like next week.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ, brace for impact.
Listen to the excitement, and voice. Sorry.
So country is having a rebirth of sorts in Sweden. However, like I said, when it's like this, it's too on the nose. It's too much. Like I said, he sang it well. Voice was great, but it's that, like I said, on the nose, really heavy country, which is such a unique market. It needs to be a bit more, for lack of a better word, poppy or commercial. It was just too in his little box to really be anything other than, for lack of a better phrase, a diversity pick, as we've seen with Melodifestivalen. Oh, here's this, we'll tick this, Schlagers. Yeah, tick that. God awful, but it was because it was a Schlager song it got picked. Not a bad song, but I think he needs to, if he wants to be serious in this competition in the next few years, he wants to come back, adapt his style somewhat. And I don't like people compromising their style, but I don't think in this current format he's going to break past the semi-final with such a Route 1 country song. There needs to be like a secondary element to it. Like, sang fantastically, brilliant vocalist.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I think he probably was the best vocalist of the night. Does anyone want to round this one off? Because I think this is a fantastic song. What about you, Sean?
I liked it.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, but first of all, did they take the roof off the arena? Because it was snowing inside. It's magic. I mean, I know it's bloody cold at this time of year in Sweden, but I think they might have took the roof off the arena there. I loved his voice. I thought it was a decent song, and I was hoping. I knew it wasn't going to go direct to final, but I thought maybe final quali round. But yeah, quite disappointed it didn't go through. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a thoroughly decent song.
Yeah, I did. But you have to have snow whilst you've got a campfire burning out in front of you. By the way, that's a winning combo.
I'm still reeling from the fact you said brought back Martin earlier. I was just wondering what Martin Palmer's thinking of that.
He doesn't do the show anymore. He doesn't care. He doesn't even watch it, so who cares? By the way, talking about people that watch it, 163 of you in the chat. So huge thank you tonight for being with us. Give us a like, maybe even a subscribe if you're here for the first time, and also just an apology for what you're about to witness. Anyway, let's move on to the Andre Chanson qualifier. This was Khalifa with Salute. And I'm not going to name all of the different writers because there's so many of them, but they're all basically the same people every week. So you should know they are by now. I love this. It had a key change. It sounded like Medina from 2022. You hear this type of song in every single Melodifestivalen nowadays. It's like a football chant with a party anthem. I don't probably need to explain anymore. Jeanette, was this one for you?
No. Again, no. But the next song will be, so I will change my mind because it was a good evening. This was an okay song, but it's not the kind of music I listen to. Well, he is quite popular with the younger population, the teenagers. Very, very popular, and he does a lot of YouTube and TikTok and all the things the young people are on. I'm not there, so I'm not the young either. So no, it wasn't the song for me, but I was glad it qualified to the new second chance. I don't think it stands a chance in hell to be anywhere in the final if it gets there. Probably in the bottom.
Thank you, Jeanette.
But it's fun though, isn't it? Come on.
It is fun. It is fun. But it's not this. If I YouTube something, it's not like, oh, I'm going to listen to Khalifa now. It's not that I listen to
Jeanette,
it.
You needed to get into the psyche of the song. You needed to picture yourself maybe a tiki bar, sundown, mojito.
Well, okay, but then
maybe
mojito. Now we're talking.
Yeah,
but then send me to paradise, and I will listen to the song. Send me somewhere.
Elliot, do you often find a lot of these songs feel a little bit copy paste, and this feels to me very much like Medina from 2-3 years ago. I honestly, when I listen to the two songs, they're not bad songs. I like both of them actually. I thought this was a good song tonight as well. But the problem with hearing the same types of songs in Melfest, you can't help but compare them. And I didn't really feel there was much in it, to be honest. What are your views?
Yeah, I have to agree and say this is something, obviously, when we spoke about Luxembourg, Tom brought up as well. Is like there's only so many ways you can do a song without it sounding like something else. And say, as someone who does do this myself, you know, it is difficult to be totally unique to the point right now. Say it's impossible to be completely unique anymore. Something will sound like something. But that said, yeah, as soon as you heard even the minute clip on Thursday, I was like, okay, Medina-esque party chant song. Oh yeah, look who's on it. That explains a lot. Can see why it's closing then. Yeah, like I said, it was just several tropes that we have seen before. And that's the thing, when it's compared to so many others, it needs to be so much better. Because otherwise you do just get, as I think maybe people saw this as, an attempt of Medina, but didn't hit as strongly because Medina have always done very well in Melodifestivalen. And you know, this struggled, in a sense, so to speak. Not a bad song. It might make it through because they might think, oh, we need something like this in the final. But yeah, I have to agree with you now. It's not going to do anything in the final because it's not Medina. They have more energy, they have more impact about them. Whereas this, it was nice and it's a good little groove. Don't get me wrong, but I think he was lacking that energy. I think he was lacking the real, not belief, but like selling it. I want to say he had fun, but you know, Medina are almost like unapologetic in what they do and like how they go for it. Whereas this seemed a bit too placed for a song like this. You can afford to be a bit wild and have fun because that's the whole point. Like I said, I think it could get through because obviously we still need to hear what the other three are and also against Mira. But yeah, it won't do anything in the final. It's pleasant. We'll get some votes from the younger age groups, but you know, the 45s and up, they're not going to vote for this in the final. Let's be honest. You know, not to do anything really.
Elena, what did you make of this one?
Yeah, basically, I agree with Elliot again. It is such a weird night. I think it's a full moon or something. But yeah, the thing is, we have seen these songs so much before, and the thing is with this song, it doesn't take you to the party. You see the party happening, but you're not in it, and that's what
You can't get
is-
in.
No,
You can't get
like
in.
it's full. You're not allowed anymore. But and that's what I missed. Like with the Samira and Victor, with the Medina, they are on stage and you're basically thrown into that song. You're partying in your living room, wherever you are. And with this song, you just see it happening. You're not in the vibe, and that's where this song is failing.
Thank you, Elena. Sean, do you see this as a song? His music taste always right. Oh, bless him, bless him, bless him. Can you see this as a song that might qualify for the final?
Oh, I don't know because we've got a few more songs to consider in the next few weeks. But when it started, I thought Stuart's going to love this because I know that he probably didn't. It was like when it started off, it sounded like the soundtrack. I don't know if anyone's a gamer, but the soundtrack of Donkey Kong Country, the computer game. And then it sounded
God, that's going back.
Well, I know, but I'm in my early 50s, so there you go. Then I don't know.
What's the Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong Country. You don't know. Come on, you must know the cartoon and computer games character Donkey Kong. The big
I don't
eight.
know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Can
okay.
I just say, you know how good a semi-final was in Melodifestivalen when the show is talking about Donkey Kong and cowboys?
So yeah, it was like Donkey Kong Country meets Sean Paul. It was, it was just a bit bizarre. Now, this was my Ian's favourite song of the night, but ignore him, he's a simpleton. I don't think. Now, I've thrown that in because I said to him, he's in another room. I said, are you going to watch the show? Of course I will. So let's see if he gets back to me on that one. It's not my bag. I can see the appeal. It was a great party song to end the night. Did it deserve second chance? Personally, I don't think so. But, hey ho, I couldn't vote. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Tom, do you want to quickly round this off? Then we'll get into the finalists.
Well, do you know what? I thought it was quite feel good. I mean, I had it pegged as going through to second chance over the others because I didn't rate song one and I didn't really think song two had a chance. and I didn't necessarily really kind of think song 5 was going to go anywhere. She kind of left song 6 as kind of like the obvious choice. But it does come down to how you sell the song, and I've got something else to say about that. But I'm going to wait until we look at the finalists, because there's a point I want to make. But you know, I don't want to spoil your flow, Stu, with kind of like the order that you've got things in. So I thought I'll wait for that point.
It's all right, Tom. Well, let's move on to the finalists then. So we had Erik Segerstedt with "Show Me What Love Is." Runner-up in Idol 2006. We've seen him before in Melodifestivalen as part of EMD with Danny Saucedo, who you may remember from a few years ago. Sean's trying to get around the corner of this graphic look, bless him. He returned 4 years later with Hello Goodbye with Tony Damley, but went out on the chanson stage. This was mid-tempo rock, even reminiscent of a certain Robbie Williams. I felt there was definitely a bit of Robbie Williams going on in it. I actually really like this, by the way. The staging was a bit awkward. Maybe they'll change that. But I like this, and I'm not surprised it qualified. I wouldn't necessarily have seen it as a qualifier based on what I thought Sweden would have voted for, but I was really pleased that it was. Jeanette, what did you make of this?
Oh my God, finally a song I liked. Hallelujah moment. Oh my God, this was amazing. Well, look at him. He looks great. He didn't sing that good tonight, but normally he's a bit better than tonight. He was a bit, how would I say, stuck up, you know, like he was expecting to go to the final, which annoys me a tiny bit. Don't know what it was, or it's self-confidence that he would make it, but you know, it's Melodifestivalen and anything can happen. I think it's a great song, catchy. And what else do we need? We need to change the act itself. It can't sit behind the piano. It goes much more to live when he just sings. He needs to do something about the staging. Otherwise, I liked it. I loved it. Woo!
Yeah, the song itself, I think, is very strong. I'm not sure his vocals that great, but you know, this, like you said, maybe he had an off night. Elena,
I
was this
think
one
he
for
had
you?
an off night. It wasn't that good vocally. I don't understand it. So I think he had an off night or something with his throat, because he didn't do the high pitch notes, which I heard when I heard the soundtrack, and he didn't do that tonight.
Yeah.
So
Someone throw him a lozenge. Elena, what did you make of this?
To be honest, I did not really loved it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I loved his attempts with Danny Saucedo and the other one, with Tony Damley. I loved that. I played that song great. But this time I was like, is this it? Is this your attempt? Like, are you going with that? It didn't took me anywhere, and I didn't like the outfits. Like, sorry, Janet. But no, he didn't. I know he was going to the final, but he didn't took me anywhere.
There you go.
It was
Tom.
the staging, Elena. The staging was off. He can't hide behind the piano. He needs to be in front and just take the crowd. They need to change it. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen.
And I think when you compare it to the staging of the other winner for tonight, Clara Hammarström, with the song on and on and on and on and on and on and on, there was definitely a bit of a difference. Do you know the one thing with Erik Segerstedt that really bothered me tonight? We haven't got a graphic of it. However, there's a moment during his performance where you see confetti flying from the rooftop down. I always find that a bit odd, because it's almost saying this is the song you must vote for, people. I hate that stuff. Sean, what's your view?
I agree. Wait till they've won, then the confetti cannon, because it really is, you know, it's a celebration before it's due, let's face it. But this song, oh wow. I mean, this is a really strong song. It started off, the intro was very reminiscent of Coldplay, I thought. He started singing, and his voice was actually a little higher than I expected. But what a voice. I think this is the strongest song in Melfest so far this year. Oh, one of the strongest I've heard in Eurovision qualifications this year, definitely. I just thought it was fantastic. A really, really good song. I see what you mean about the staging. It was a bit all over the place. And I didn't quite like the cocky attitude when he got through. It just seemed to be, you know, I mean, perhaps he's just, I mean, obviously he's really pleased that he's got through to the final and that he won the heat. But it did come up a little bit show-offish, yeah. But fantastic song. In fact, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the song itself is very, very good. Elliot, from a staging perspective, could they have done anything different to maybe elevate it? Because it did feel a bit cold at one moment, and then all of a sudden it kicks in.
Yeah, this, I'm going to be honest, I see this coming last in the final. I don't know how he won. The song is dated male ballads. Like I said, if you're citing Coldplay and Robbie Williams, there's your issue, because that music is 15 to 20 years old. I think he got through in his name, because if we're all admitting he didn't sound good, then the fact he won the semi-final in a strong semi-final makes me think people were voting on the studio track. And yeah, with the staging, what I really didn't like, and I don't mind the fact he's behind the piano because we've seen it before, that's fine. However, if you're going to have a band thing with separate plinths, why is he not in the center? You can still have him not square on, that's fine. But why is the drummer in the middle? He needs to be the focus of that center point, and he wasn't. And that was the confusing thing. Like I said, it's nothing I'm ever gonna go towards myself. And you know, I like a ballad. I'm not against a ballad at all. But like I said, when it sounds like something from 20 years ago, then it's not for me. I'm sorry. At the minute, actually, I take back coming 12th because I forgot Maya's in that final. This will be 11th. This will be near the bottom, because when it comes to the final, an international jury looks at this, they're gonna ignore it. I'm sorry. It's gonna be put slap bang next to a contender to win, and it's gonna die. It's going to die. Do you remember Dotta won her semi-final last year and everyone thought, oh, she's going to win, and then she completely flatlined in the final, so I wouldn't count it out at all. Well done to him. I don't mind the whole cocky thing because we see it every single year, you know, like so Jon Jungvik, Danny Salcedo, they know they're going to get through, so they can't hide it. Swedes show their emotions, you know, we know this. So it didn't bother me as much, to be honest, but I don't see this doing anything in the final, to be honest. I don't think it'll be anywhere near a contender, to be honest. Sorry, Jeanette, I know you adore this song and I know you adore him, but it's not the song Sweden are going to send. And if they do, look at their semi-final.
I don't think it's going to win, but I think it's still going to do well. I see him in the top 5 in the final. I can't see 4 other songs beating this. It's impossible. Then there must be some kind of Swedish miracle happening.
Well,
do you know what?
I mean,
we need to record this for you know.
I can think of 4 names.
Maybe.
Top 5, and you say number 11.
I'm saying bottom 3.
Okay,
there you go.
Well, that's a change.
Remember this.
Well, no, if I give an exact number, then I know it's going to be like a bloody point from, like, you know, some British jury is going to stop him getting there. So bottom 3, because
to be honest, Elliot, I could see if I don't know if the United Kingdom are voting this year, but if they are, then I could see him giving points to this, to be quite frank. Tom, what do you make of this? And also, let's move on to the very final song, because you want to talk about performance. And if ever there was a performance of the night, it would have been Clara. So what is your view on this song, and also what you saw in the other finalist?
Okay, right. Let's go to basics, right? First of all, Eric liked the song. Obviously, it was going to go through. It pains me to say this, by the way, right? Watch this bit. I hate to say it, but I kind of agree with what Elliot said. Moving on.
No!
Moving on to
you're betraying me. No.
Moving on to Clara Hammarström. Right. Okay. I found parts of her first performance, really creepy. The hands and stuff I thought was really creepy. I thought the plinth was far too much. The dancers I thought were great, but do you know what? If we're talking about someone selling a song and how they can really, really pull it out the bag, I'm sorry, her reprise this evening was absolutely bloody brilliant. Her reprise was fantastic. She sold the hell out of that song. The way she moved through the crowd. I mean, let's face it, every security guard's worst nightmare, I suspect, as she moved through. But that was absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? That really did prove to me that in actual fact, the performance that she did for the actual song, as lovely as it was to have the kind of the plinth and the Greek staging and everything, in actual fact, if she strips that back when she goes to the final, and if she does something a little bit more personable to the crowd with some of that, and then perhaps has a bigger thing for the second half of that, she's got a really good chance, because that was just really, really good this evening. And I absolutely loved it. And it's going back to the point about Khalifa that I wanted to make earlier, in that I think to say with some of the performances and the way they do them, and you're like, oh, do you know what? It's not got the vibe to it and stuff. But there is proof there that you can do it a different way. And if you do it a different way, the song comes across differently. Because I'll be honest, I didn't think her song hit as well first time round as it did second time round. Second time round, I was watching it with someone else and they were like, oh, do you know what? That is going to be in my head now for ages. And we absolutely loved the reprise. It was so good. And I'd recommend anyone, for me, her reprise, performance of the night.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I do think this is a Melodifestivalen and shaping up to be Clara versus Mons. So I guess only time will tell. Elina, this is a song for me that if it was to win Melodifestivalen, automatically becomes a top 5 contender for Eurovision. What is your view?
Yes, that could be a competition for Belgium. But yeah, sorry, we have high hopes here. And you're wearing red, Sean, so that also says something. But anyway, what's the question? Wearing red.
Which
No,
club
that's
do
gonna
you
be
go to?
no, that's gonna be the color you see all Belgians wearing. But anyway,
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
yeah. With Clara, to be honest, I love the song and I actually liked her outfit for once, because I'm not always the greatest fan of her show outfits, but I liked it. And I do see what Tom was saying with the hands, that I thought it was a bit creepy as well. But yeah, it's like Tom said, she's going to be great competition for Mons. So if she does it right, Mons needs to look out for this one.
Yeah, there's something quite familiar about the song. I mean, I heard blues Dabadi melody coming through really, really clearly for me. And also, I don't know whether you guys saw this too, but did you notice that in every segment before each song, they interviewed her? She was on camera the most. So she got the most camera time leading up to her entry, which is interesting from a TV perspective. And that's deliberate, right? That's deliberate to ensure that it gets the most attention. So good on her. I think it's a great song. Elliot, staging wise, brilliant. Vocal wise, brilliant. Maybe she gets eclipsed in the final by a better song, but I think this will definitely be her best ever entry in terms of performance. What are your view?
Yeah, like I said, when I saw the names, she was the one that I was waiting on to challenge Mons, because it's clear that Mons has always said he's only going to come back against a song he thinks he can win with. That was adamant, and that's clear. I was banking on Clara having a song to beat him, because obviously, Clara's also admitted this week she is very competitive. This is, say, your typical Swedish Eurodance banger, and it does very, very well. Now, I've got an interesting theory on the song, which I think this is the prequel to Tattoo, because it is wrote by the exact same team with Dino added in. And obviously Tattoo is about your lover's marks on me, and this is one day maybe you will love me, and then it will go on. It sounds so similar in a narrative sense. So I wouldn't be shocked if they wrote this and have held it back for someone to go with. I don't get the staging. This has nothing to do with Greece. Why is she on a plinth like that? It's cool, it rotates and everything, and she found the camera marks fantastically, but I agree with Tom. Let her make that connection with the audience. Let her look at people when she's saying that and really draw you in. She doesn't need all that. Clara has been so close before with Run to the Hills where the song was there, but her voice wasn't there. Her voice is now there, but this song is slightly missing it. And the worst part is when it stops and it builds back up, you think the song's over, but then it loops and comes back in. I'm like, if you didn't do that, go to a drop slightly. Yeah, that's fine. But it's the fact that and I think it's maybe just slightly too repetitive, maybe. It's almost there for Clara, almost. And I can see this like top 3 and very, very close to winning it. But I just also think there's something slightly missing to give her that win. Maybe she'll find it in the final. I don't know. Maybe they'll change an element in the final to give it that winning edge. But yeah, she is so close to doing it. And, she will be fantastic for Sweden. But I also agree with Alina. Belgium at the minute is the song to beat. So, they're the ones they're going to be watching because Red Sebastian at the minute is miles ahead the best song so far in this election in Eurovision at the minute. So they're the ones they're going to be watching. Clara, it's almost there. It is almost there. But yeah, rework the staging. Didn't need it. Doesn't make sense to the song. But the song isn't bad. The song's really catchy. It's a massive earworm. So she's got a lot in her favour. Again, this is what I can see the jury's really loving because it's commercial, massive radio hit. We played it in the UK. Solid singer, stunning singer as well. Let's be real. And she's got everything there. It's just a case of can she do it on the night when she is a favourite? Because that was her issue with Run to the Hill. She knew she was a favourite, and then it fell apart a bit. I think she just needs to focus on herself and not the competitive element at Friends Arena, and she might actually do it. To be honest,
Thanks.
Yeah,
thank you, Elliot.
Going to be sorry.
And Jeanette, it's your country. Would you be proud if this was your entry this year?
Yes, it was an amazing performance, and I agree with Elliot. Everything is there. There's everyone's agreeing with you. There's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Must be a full moon or something. There's something crazy going on.
Wolves are crying outside my window. Woo! Yeah, something. Yeah, I agree with Elliot. It has the 90%. It's just lacking something, and I think it's the weird staging. What has Greece to do with all of this song? She hasn't explained it because then maybe you can get attached to the song. It was amazing staging, but I agree. The song comes alive when she does her replay, when she's connecting with the audience. It was amazing. She's stunning. She can sing, good act, good song. It's just something lacking. Could be a winner. I say top 3. What do you say, Elliot? In the final?
Yeah, I think this has got all the ingredients to be in the top 3, to be honest. Like I said, got to see what the other songs are like, but I can see it there. Definitely.
Yeah, Mons has a contender. We're talking about Mons, all of us, but we still don't know what it's going to be with his song. We have no clue
I'm not
about
talking
it.
about Mons. I don't think I'm talking about Dolly Style, the future
Yeah.
winner of Melodifestivalen.
Yeah.
Sean, let's round this off, and also tell me about what's coming up on ESC Fan TV.
Oh gosh. Okay. So first of all, on and on and on and on and on. Right. I love Clara Hammarström. I love her voice. This song, however, it wasn't her best entry. Run to the Hills is a lot better, I think, than on and on and on and on and on and on and on. The staging, I understand what you mean. The Greek theme didn't quite fit with the song, but I like the concept of it. I love the hands. I know everyone thinks it's creepy. I love the hands that crawl up, and then suddenly,
Gollum.
then suddenly the camera changes angle, and there's nobody there. I think it's just one of those really magical camera tricks that Melfest do all the time. It's brilliant. I love that. I loved it when she was kind of floated away in that time vortex kind of a thing. I love that illusion there with the camera on the ceiling and she's on the floor, but with the graphics, it just looks like she'll float into a time vortex. Look, the end bit as well, where just the camera work and the lighting was amazing right at the end. But the thing is, I've got more to say about this. I've got more to say about the staging than the actual song, which in itself, I think, herein lies a problem. And what you're saying about the reprise being much stronger and much better vocally, she wasn't wriggling around on the floor on the reprise. She wasn't lying down on a plinth. She wasn't on the floor. You know what I mean? She was upright. She was singing properly, and you could tell the difference. It was a far stronger vocal. So I think scrap that staging. Don't wait till after the final. If you want to win Melfest with this song, scrap the staging now and just get her to deliver the song. Have whatever going on behind her, but let's get her stood upright so she can actually deliver a powerful vocal that we know she can. So there.
There we have
go.
it.
Okay, so we're about to get out of here. Sean, quickly, what's coming up?
Oh my goodness, tomorrow again, Super Sunday with 3 shows back to back, starting at 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. Central European time. We've got a 2-for-1 offer on your first show with Latvia and Malta, no less. And then we've got another country, and I've forgotten.
Finland.
It's Finland, of course. It's Finland. Finland is at 7 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Central European time, and then we finish off with Ukraine. Yeah, so Ukraine at 8 p.m. UK time and 9 p.m. Central European time. 3 shows tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. So join us, please.
Yeah, absolutely do that. And you can join us and subscribe to us all over social. There's YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and what the hell Mastodon is. I'm sure he's a nice fellow. But we will be here back tomorrow. And it's been great spending another Saturday night with you, talking about Melodifestivalen Heat 2. We'll see you next week. From myself and the panel, have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.